The sirens were already too late. Flames licked the side of the overturned car like they were hungry, cracking glass, hissing against twisted metal. Smoke rolled thick and black into the evening sky, choking the street with panic. People stood, frozen on the sidewalk, phones raised, mouths open, bodies unwilling to move closer. Everyone was waiting for someone else to act. Everyone except Olea Johnson. She was 17, scholarship finalist, valedictorian track. One envelope away from a future she'd been fighting for her entire life. She had just missed the bus that would VA taken her to the most important interview of her life, the final scholarship review at Hawthorne Prep. The kind of school that changed bloodlines, not just lives, and now the car was burning. Someone called 911. A man shouted. They already did. Olea dropped her backpack out inside the car. A boy screamed. Not loud, not dramatic, just scared. A sound that cut straight through her chest. She didn't think she ran. Olea, her friend, screamed from across the street. Don't. The heat hit her like a wall. Her skin prickled instantly. The driver's side was crushed, flames pouring from the hood. The boy, maybe 8 or 9, was trapped in the back seat, coughing, crying, reaching out through smoke. I'm here, Olea shouted, her voice shaking but strong. I got you. The door wouldn't open. She pulled again. Nothing. The fire cracked louder. Her hands burned as she grabbed the metal frame, yanking with everything she had. People screamed at her to stop. She kicked the door once, twice. It gave. She climbed inside, wrapping her arms around the boy, shielding his face with her body as smoke filled her lungs. She dragged him out, stumbling, falling back onto the pavement just as a tire exploded behind them. The crowd erupted. Someone grabbed the boy. Another pulled Olea away as firefighters finally arrived. She lay on the asphalt, chest heaving, arms blistered, eyes burning. And all she could think was, I'm late. The scholarship interview room was silent when Olea arrived. Her clothes smelled like smoke. Her hands were wrapped in gauze. Her hair was frizzed and singed at the edge as the woman at the front desk looked her over, uncomfortable. You're Miss Johnson? Yes, ma'am, Olea said, breathless. I'm here for the final review. The woman hesitated. The panel concluded 20 minutes ago. Olea's heart dropped. I was at an accident, she said quickly. There was a child. I'm sorry, the woman said, already softening her voice. Rules are rules. Olea nodded slowly. She turned and walked out before the tears could fall. That night she sat on the edge of her bed, staring at the rejection email glowing on her cracked phone screen. Subject line: Scholarship status update. She didn't open it. She already knew. Her mother sat beside her, gently holding her bandaged hands. You did the right thing, her mom whispered. Olea shook her head. Doing the right thing doesn't pay tuition. Her mother pulled her into a hug. It pays in ways you can't always see. Olea laughed bitterly. I needed this scholarship, Mom. I know, her mother said softly. I know. Across town, in a private hospital room filled with machines and quiet panic, a man sat beside his son's bed. Richard Hawthorne didn't sleep. He watched the rise and fall of his son's chest, listening to the steady beeping that meant a live dad. The boy whispered weakly. The girl. Did she make it? Richard leaned forward. What girl? The one who saved me, the boy said. She smelled like smoke. Richard's throat tightened. I don't know, he admitted. But we'll find her. The next morning, the story hit the local news. Teen girl pulls child from burning car. Mrs. Scholarship interview. A photo appeared on screen. Olea. Richard froze. That's her, his son said softly. That's the girl. Richard felt something shift in his chest, because Hawthorne Prep wasn't just a school, it was his school. His name on the building, his signature on the scholarship guidelines, his rule about punctuality, about no exceptions. He watched the interview footage again, read the rejection email draft, and then he closed his laptop. Get me the scholarship committee, he said, quietly. That afternoon, Olea was at work, restocking shelves at the grocery store, when her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello, is this Olea Johnson? A man asked. Yes, sir. This is Richard Hawthorne. Silence. I'm sorry, Olea stammered. I know I missed. My son is alive, Richard interrupted. A breath caught. He's alive because of you. Olea's knees nearly gave out. She grabbed the shelf for support. I just did what anyone should, she said. Richard exhaled slowly. No, you did what not everyone would. Another pause. Did you know who my son was? He asked. No, Olea said quickly. I didn't even know his name. Richard nodded to himself. Good. Her voice trembled. Sir, if this is about the scholarship, I understand the rules. She didn't get special treatment. Richard's voice softened. Olea, my school teaches leadership, courage, and character, he said. Yesterday, you embodied all three without expecting anything in return. She closed her eyes. I wrote those rules, he continued, and I'm rewriting one of them. What do you mean? She whispered. I mean, Rich, you said, your scholarship was never lost. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Like to invite you back, he added. Not for an interview. To accept. Olia couldn't speak. You didn't miss your future, Richard said gently. You ran straight into it. Weeks later, Olia stood on the stage at Hawthorne. Prep, sunlight pouring through stained glass windows, her arms had healed. The scars remained, though so did the applause. Richard stood beside his son, who waved shyly from the front row. When Olia finished her speech, she looked out at the crowd and said the words that had lived in her heart since that night. I didn't save a life to gain a reward. I saved a life because it mattered. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: opportunity should never punish compassion. The room stood, because sometimes the thing you think costs you everything is the very thing that proves you deserve more. And the moral echoed long after the clapping stopped. When you choose courage over convenience, you may lose time, but you never lose your worth. The world has a way of returning what kindness gives, often through doors you didn't even know existed.